Hello, this is Seshachalam from Astrogat myself. Today let us talk about Saturn and its effect on the native when it is placed in the 11th house. So, the 11th house, the Labhasthana, is the second from the Karmasthana, that is the 10th house, which actually gives you the gains because of your karma. That is what if any house second to any other house would always give gain to that previous house. So that is how it is. So what do you get from it? That the word, what the phrase, what do you get from this house should be seen from the next house to it. So it's in a very simple way I'm trying to tell this. It's not directly applicable like that, but still. So I have made some points on the Saturn and its placement in the 11th house. The 11th house has many significations. Many significations. Profit, labha is one of the main significations which actually people take it, more, give more importance to. That is because nowadays the whole world is materialistically motivated and they are running behind, what we have, what we can show off, how we can live, whether we can live our life like this, like that. So it's more on gaining materialistic, acquiring materialistic property, cars, and all these things, and also for that what is required, profit, you know. So profit here does not mean earning. Earning is from the second house, from the ascendant. The second house is the earning. So profit means that if you have a fixed asset, like for example, you are having a house and you are getting rent from it. So this rent is to be taken as profit. And if you are having some parental property and if you are having some, property which has come because of, through fixed bonds or something like that, so you have liquidated it and you have bought some property. All this is called labha, that is profit because of not because of direct effort, not a gain because of earning. Earning is like a salary based thing. You work, you earn. So profit is like you invest and you still work there, but you are earning more than what actually you are regularly going to earn as a job. So that is called profit or gain or labha. So people who make straightforward profit, that is, people who have the sense of ethics, like they will have a limit on their profit margin. So that is what is Saturn. Saturn tells that one should know how much he should earn for his living, for that particular lifestyle. So as the lifestyle increases, the profit, that is the requirement, also increases. So what actually happens, the pressure builds and he will have to earn more. So because he will not be able to earn directly from his salaries to that level, so he will start go through unethical means. But here Saturn in the 11th means very ethical and extremely straightforward and very strict with regard to policies and methods of how to earn their living or how to earn their profits from the 11th house. So the 11th house also is for sannyasa. The 12th house is for experience, 10th house is for the karma, and in between the 10th and the 12th you get sannyasa. So depending on how the planets are placed, it actually changes its, there is a lot of modification. So the planet Saturn, when it is sitting in the 11th house, will aspect the third from it, the 11th, the 12th, the first. So the first house, second, third, fourth, fifth, the seventh aspect on the fifth house, sixth, seventh, eighth. So the 10th aspect on the eighth house. So we all know that the eighth house is for desire. There was a little bit of confusion earlier. Somebody was asking that you are telling eighth house is desire, then 11th house also is desire. So 11th house is more like passion, motivated. The sukha got from the desire. The 8th house is the innate desire that comes from inside. So there is a little bit of difference there. So a desire to get something like a materialistic thing to, it's an outcome of that is the 11th house. But the inner desire that I want to live like this, I want to become this, is the 8th house. So the aspect on the first house, it will not let the native budge from his realistic living and will very much control the native to be within the limits. A good Saturn is an excellent place, Saturn in the 11th house. That is one of the best placements for Saturn, the 11th. The strongest Upachaya Sthana. The 3rd, the 6th, the 10th, the 11th. These are the 4 Upachaya Sthanas, the houses of growth. So the 11th house becomes the strongest. Why? Because degree wise it is the strongest, it is 330 degrees. So it will give the best of the results when Saturn is placed in that particular house. So the 5th house it aspects the 5th house, which is for children, progeny. So there might be break in studies because 5th house is also for higher studies. So there might be break in studies. After undergraduation, the person might not be able to directly go into the post-graduation studies, as normally there would be a flow that person would want to go without a break. But there might be a break because of many reasons. That particular time what dasha bhukti is running, that particular time what type of a transit is running, will all decide on what sort of a break it will give. But Saturn is there to provide that particular break. Okay, maybe the person will go for a job for 2 years and then get into his higher studies. So there is a break in studies, and also for progeny there might be a delay in progeny. So that is also because the Saturn is aspecting the 5th house. Delay does not mean there is any problem of fertility or there is infertility. No. Saturn always delays, it never denies. It will give, but in a long run, it will be late. So there will be a lot of dissatisfaction and irritation associated with this particular placement of Saturn in the 11th house because it aspects the 5th. And also it aspects the 8th, where the house of it's not only the house of desire, it's also the house of litigations, court cases, suspensions, and also humiliation. So when Saturn is aspecting the 8th house, these things get a lot of strength. So we need to be cautious. People who are having 11th house Saturn have to be cautious in whatever they are dealing with, because if they are unnecessarily they want to earn money and they jump rules in their office, they will one day get caught, unnecessarily go through humiliation and very strict punishment. So follow the rules, be strict and be in your limits. That is what is Saturn in the 11th house. It will protect you throughout life. There will be a long life here. People live very long when the Saturn is placed in the 11th house. They have good longevity. So gains through experience and advisory roles, that is seen when Saturn is there in the 11th house. And if it is retrograde, if Saturn is retrograde in the 11th house and it is strong, then the person will get motivated towards Hatha Yoga and Sannyasa. He would rather not go into the regular samsara, the cycle of marriage, children and all these things. He would simply want to jump into the ashrama of sannyasa. He would not want to go through the grihastha ashrama, then the vanaprastha ashrama, and then the sannyasa. He would simply jump into the sannyasa directly. So if it is normal and strong, people would want to go through the full cycle of brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa. They would want to live their whole life, and they will, because it's a beautiful placement of Saturn, normal and strong. It is not weak, it is normal. That is normal in the sense that it is placed in a friend's house, strong in the sense that it is exalted or it is in its own house, and they get a lot of material gains in their life, property, everything will be smooth with regard to that particular person. But there will be again delay associated. Saturn, whether it is well posited, weak posited, or whatever, Saturn means slow, so it will do its job until unless, see, there are certain cases where Saturn becomes dead slow, in the sense that it is just changing from direct to becoming retro, or from just become from retro to direct. So we need to see and check the pace of Saturn, the speed of Saturn. If we feel that it is below, very much below normal speed, then we can call it Dagda. Dagda means very slow or dead speed. So it becomes zero. The strength of Saturn becomes zero in that particular time, and sometimes it will not delay. It will delay to such an extent that the delay will be more than our lifetime. So that means it doesn't happen in our lifetime. So that we need to check. I am telling it happens very rarely. It is a very rare phenomenon what I am trying to talk now. But it still happens. It still happens. People are born with such planetary positions. So if it is weak in the 11th house, there will be a lot of dissatisfaction, loss of property, sudden loss in share market and share trading and investments. So need to be a very cautious. People should not unnecessarily invest in share market and trading if Saturn is weak in the 11th house, because house of speculation is 5th and its opposition is the 11th house. So if there is a weak planet in the 7th from the 5th, 100% it will affect the 5th house. So if it is weak and malefic, if it is not just weak but malefic also, so then the person will become pessimistic, sarcastic, negative personality. He would not like anybody grow around him. He would do everything to see that the other person's life is, whatever you say, he would see that it would be difficult for him to live a normal life. So he will see that everything is done so that this would be his job. That's what we call people who are sadists. So a weak, malefic Saturn in the 11th house makes a person think too much, selfishly about himself and his status in that particular place wherever he is living. So he would not like others come and take over that particular spot. If it's a strong malefic Saturn, now he is not bothered whether you are coming front in life or somebody else is coming. He is so strong and it's a malefic, he will make a lot of gains. So here one should understand that gains might be through unethical means also. So now unethical means does not mean always that a person would gain through criminal activities. No, it might also mean that there are so many, businesses in the society which are recognized as business, but the society as a whole, if all 100 people in the community come and vote, they will tell no, we don't want this. But when you go to an individual and ask, he will tell, yeah, I would want to, I don't go every day, but I would want to spend some time in the bar, some recreation, I would want to go there, nightlife is important to me. So if you go to an individual, he will tell that. But if you ask him in a group, in a congregation, he will tell, no, these are all not required for our society. Our children will have a bad aspect on it, and all these good, great, philosophical things they will talk there. But when you go to the individual and you don't have to follow him, but still you go to the individual and ask him, he'll tell, drinking is, I know it's bad for as a social cause, it's bad. But sometimes occasional drinking, I know it's not bad. So I also go there. I'll little bit only, not much. I only take little bit. So permissible social practices individually, which are not accepted holistically for a society, are means of earnings for many people. Tobacco, any chewable tobacco, drinks, that is alcohol, and many other practices are not unethical as per the social norms. They have not declared it unethical, but still it's not advisable. So, but still, these people make a lot of money from that. With the strong malefic Saturn in the 11th house, these people make a lot of money from that. And though it's what we call as businesses on the edge of social acceptance. So, let us call that. So, Saturn is like that, and they live through their own strength of knowledge and experience. They unnecessarily don't depend on others. These people have gone through a lot of tough young life, and when they come up in their life, they will get the experience after every hit. So they don't learn from experiences from others. They get hit, they understand that every hit is an experience, and they learn from it. Chronic health problems, back pains, arthritis, knee joint problems can happen for these people with Saturn in the 11th house. So, because of this position of Saturn, it can see the fifth house, which is the heart. So, the heart also, chronic heart problems can happen. People going through bypass in a early age in their life. 25, 30-year-old people, young, teenagers, and also young children who are there, youth, they have gone through bypasses. I have seen bypasses happening for very young people, and they go through chronic treatment, 10, 15 years of treatment, and then they become okay. So it's not that you should always go to old age to get these problems. Nowadays, people in the young age also are getting problems. So chronic problems like breathing problems, like problems of migraine and headache, and back pain, neck pain, cervical spondylitis, arthritis, these things are the ones which can be seen when Saturn is in the sixth from the sixth. That is the 11th house, that is the 11th house. So, what are the good things about this Saturn then? Because I keep telling 11th house Saturn is a good Saturn. Then what are the good things? These people are very good moderators. They can sit between two enemies and make them understand how to live peacefully in this world. So these people are very good moderators. They are excellent counselors, and they have the capacity to talk to the toughest people on earth, criminals on earth, and interview them. So these people can go through very hard jobs. They are very good. They are very good. They can sustain that, endure the strength. They have the strength. They can endure the pain and the occupational hazards, and still they can do a very good job in these tough jobs. And these are all tough jobs. Going into the prison and interviewing criminals, trying to make a try to understand what actually the person was having in mind when he did it. So these are not easy jobs. These take a huge toll on the psychology of the person. So these people are very good psychologists. They know how to talk, where to talk, when to talk. These people are fantastic. So they are good counselors, agriculturists, police, hard field jobs like installations of oil jigs, installations of big projects, bridges, roads, railroads, railways, all these jobs where you need to leave the family, go away, live in bunkers and do it. So, tough jobs, they can do these things. So if it is a strong and benefic Saturn, they will have good friends for life, they will have associates for life, and if it is weak, they will have more enemies and backstabbers than anybody else. So it is like you have the best, then it's always very good. You have the worst Saturn there, my God, it's very difficult for us to go through that. So thank you very much for today's class. I have put in a lot of subject here for today. So I would want people who are actually studying astrology seriously to take up charts, make these analysis, see whether this has actually happened, how much of it is true, how much of it is not true, and why it has not happened, correlate with other planetary aspects and positions. You will understand it very nicely. Thank you very much.